It's the annual throwing of the tomatoes here in Spain, and the world's largest food fight will catch up later. For you see, when you want to practice safe eating techniques, you must always use a condiment. Heads of State is an Amazon MGM original from the director of Hardcore Henry and Nobody. I mean, he's not a nobody. He's actually done some stuff. If he was named Nobody, it would be a very, very strange thing to put on his driver's license, on his birth certificate, and on any packages he has to sign when he gets them from Amazon. That being said, it was written by 3 people, one of which, this is their feature credit. They have other stuff in the pipeline, but this is the first thing they have. Oh boy. Oh boy. 2 other writers, their credits include Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, which was at least starting the upward trend. It wasn't necessarily the best, but it was absolutely better than number 2 and number 3. Number 3 was alright. Nevertheless, check out my reviews of the Mission Impossible movies if you want. And they also did the 2 live-action TMNT movies in the 2010s in 2014 and 2016. All I remember about those movies is they were absolutely shit. But not as shit as Mutant Mayhem. You can fight me in the comments, because Mutant Mayhem may have been out of my age bracket, but it was really, really bad. This bacon, egg, and cheese stuff, and nobody talks like that. So anyway, President Will Derringer, a.k.a. President John Cena, which is just hilarious to say. He's an actor turned president. Boy, it's a good thing we don't vote for people just based solely on their celebrity status. Why would anybody in this country fucking do that? Nobody did that even back in the 80s. Anyway, John Cena's trying to do his best as Will Derringer. Would have been funny if he was called Rick Derringer. I don't know why. That just would have been more hilarious to me. It would have been a fitting tribute. Because when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, that happens a little bit later on in the movie. But he is very happy to try and do some good. Even though he's not necessarily a failed actor, but he wanted to do more. He wanted to do more dramatic roles, but they liked him doing action movies. This is also not the first time that John Cena has been associated with Amazon. I mean, there was Jackpot, that terrible action comedy with Awkwafina. I'll just blame her for how bad that was. And the comedy Ricky Stenicki. He also did that terrible thing with Alison Brie called Freelance. And boy, that was a bad movie. John Cena has done some questionable movies, I'll say, but he's getting paid, and he has goofy hair, but he's getting paid. He's trying to do some stuff, so it is what it is. So President John Cena has a strained relationship, shall we say, with UK Prime Minister Sam Clark. Sam, in addition to making the pants too long, also is taking his job a little bit too seriously, and he's played by Idris Elba. Both John Cena and Idris Elba have executive producer credits, and they end up in a firefight, and that must stop a global conspiracy in this globe-trying adventure that basically is just Amazon saying, here's a bowl of gruel with no flavoring, eat it. Eat it, you sons of bitches. Like so many other movies that they've just like sloughed out and slopped out at us. Deep Cover was an action comedy-ish that came out. That one was more low-key. Wasn't very good. But when it comes to a movie like Heads of State, there are a few lines that do hit. Commanders and Beef actually was kind of funny. And a couple of the action scenes are all right. And you can tell everybody's having fun. It's just the problem is that the movie is so unremarkably unmemorable that if you don't write things down, you may struggle to remember anything that happened in the first act by the time the second act begins. And by the time you get to even the end of the second act, you may forget what the fuck you're watching. Have to pause it and then go out of your house and question what you're doing with your life. I know I did at one point. So, there are other people in this. There's Priyanka Chopra Jones from Quantico, the absolutely stunning Miss Jones. My God, what a beauty she is. She plays a special agent with ties to one of these particular characters. You also have a villain named Victor. Hey, Victor, I heard about your dad. Good old Smoke Signals. That is like, there are like 2 people from my high school that if they happen to be still alive and watching this, they would be dying laughing. Paddy Considine, and he was actually in Deep Cover. A lot of Deep Cover coverage on this. Haha. Vice President Kirk, played by Carlo Gugino, who's certainly had quite the last 10 years of movies and projects. Charlton Copley, or Charlton, I keep calling him Shart, because District 9 was a Shart. Stephen Root was in this. Jack Quaid was in this. Sarah Niles, who was recently in F1, is something I encourage you guys to check out on the big screen, as well as Claire Foster, who is a very attractive Irish woman, or Welsh, or something. and Katrina Durden, who is certainly very adept at doing karate and martial arts and looks very, very good. So, this movie, however, is not any good. It's really not. It's not the worst thing I've seen from Amazon, or even the worst thing offered in the past, few months. I don't even think it's going to crack my top 10, but again, so unremarkably unmemorable. Any of the action scenes, you've seen them time and time before. They use contemporary songs such as Sabotage, Kickstart My Heart, Elvis Presley's I Can't Help Falling in Love. They have a song from the Gypsy Kings in the very beginning of the opening credits. And there you are. That's basically it right there. There's not a whole lot to sink your teeth into. It's just a movie that simply exists as content to put out for people like me to watch. So that's being said, it's on Amazon. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, the tomato fight in Spain, I did appreciate Priyanka for doing the ketchup pun. I can always appreciate an excessively attractive woman doing puns. Puns are the way to my heart. They're on a mission to catch this guy, Victor, that easily sneaks up on them, has this stuff set up that he gets to drop on them. The crew gets to drop on them. She gets shot, and everybody seems like they're all dead. She's not. She shows up later. President John Cena, we see a montage of him as an actor, whatever. I point out, oh, good Lord, Claire Foster is cute. And Victor is a bad criminal and is an arms dealer because this is a goddamn arms race, as Fall Out Boy once said. And there's something about this pebble bed technology that's supposed to be clean energy, but is of course used for nefarious purposes as Victor gets a hold of the technology. But this is said in a press conference between President Cena and UK PM Elba. It sounds really weird saying that. And because they're arguing, people do the hashtag on social media, Commanders and Beef. That admittedly was kind of funny. And Victor is a lame villain. It's not a lame actor, he's a lame villain. Air Force One is taken down because somebody has intel on the inside as opposed to outel on the outside. And it turns out that actually it's VP Kirk. I'm skipping way ahead, but if you couldn't figure out who it was, I really don't know what to tell you. So, they do manage to take down the plane, but they do manage to take out a few of the guys. They had Gatling guns on there. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Yeah, this movie just kind of blends together. The staff dies completely. I mean, no big loss because nobody really remembered them. This is still, at least more believable than Air Force One. Actually, I kid. I think Air Force One was pretty good. It's just when you had Harrison Ford saying, "Get off my lawn," it was a little bit ridiculous. So it's like Freelance, but less shit. They're in Belarus. Vice President Kirk takes over, and she's going to pull them out of NATO and have them become self-sufficient. Gee, almost like the current administration. It feels like we can do everything on our own when we don't have competent leadership. So there's this technology called Echelon. That's not the bike pedaling thing, by the way, that some people have used. They end up doing it to get a hold of dangerous intel. And countries now are at war with each other, essentially a war of words. They end up in Belarus, beat up some guys. And then this lady basically gets them off of her property. She has a sheep truck. She vows to transport them through some blockades. She gives one of their sheep, or one of her sheep, to them as a pet. And they seemed actually very happy. I hope those sheep are doing okay because animals deserve to be treated well. She knew that he was the president. We get quips back and forth about, John Cena saying you never saw any of my movies, like Water Cobra 2. And Idris was like, no, I like actual cinema. By the way, I think Idris was kind of channeling how he felt about Marvel movies. And ironic, considering he was in at least one Thor movie, if not two. Marty is played by Jack Quaid. He's a bit of a nerd that also has a bit of a hideout. He has a lot of guns. And Sabotage montage, we get, the Beastie Boys playing. Jack Quaid ends up dying, except not really. And Noelle is back. We see a montage about what happened to her. She had a bulletproof vest. She beat some people up. Pinned a guy down. Who wouldn't want to be pinned down by her? But nevertheless, she ends up helping them out with her particular set of skills and beautiful eyes. Good grief, beautiful eyes. So we get Total Eclipse of the Heart playing at one point that doesn't really... No, this really works because it's just silly. It's just goddamn silly. Victor, again, bad villain. He's got this guy working on his stuff. Working on like this upper echelon stuff, but then he finds out he has no reason for him. They thought it might have been Quincy, the assistant, but it wasn't. It was, and it could have been, but it actually turned out to be VP Kirk. Sam and Noelle used to actually have a thing, but he wanted to run for office. She wanted to do her own thing, but it's not like he didn't care about her. How could you not care about her? Look at her. And all through this, John Cena is kind of trying to encourage him to, like, go for it. So Arthur, played by Stephen Root, shows up and tries to get them to safety. He was the tech guy working on this, but he ends up getting shot. And no one trusts VP Kirk. This is before it's revealed that she's behind the whole goddamn thing. And it's not Sarah Niles. Sarah Niles doesn't give him much to do as the president's assistant. And Sam, at one point when they're in this just almost destroyed high-rise apartment, he screws up with like a bag of explosives, but ends up blowing up some people inadvertently. Silly, I guess. Blow stuff up. Stuff blows up, things happen, is really the theme of this movie. And we get a fight in a helicopter. That seems safe. Because Victor's like, oh, well, I know that Kirk is behind this, but I'm not going to allow you all motherfuckers to kill me. And then Noelle just wants Sam, and you go for a woman like that if she wants you. Just saying. And, oh boy, more espionage and twists and everything. Kickstart My Heart plays. Everybody beats up everybody. We get like the 3 separate fight thing that I've noticed. Like going back to The Mummy. I mean, I think even before that, but The Mummy, I think, popularized it. At least the 1999 Mummy. And there was this funny part where they're racing the Beast, the protected car, to the safety of NATO. And there's this backup blood pack thing that just happens to be there that Cena throws on the goddamn windshield and somebody crashes and blows up. I think Katrina Durden did. That's a shame. I wouldn't blow you up. I'm just saying that, Miss Durden. So they get to NATO. They reveal that it's Kirk, and there you are. They found this out, by the way, looking at a bunch of looking at some old dial-up technology. So we get people doing things and beating up each other, and it looks like Victor's going to get away. But then, hey, you remember Water Cobra 2? This guy sacrifices himself for the hero. You never saw my movies. I did. They were all masterpieces. And Idris Elba sacrifices himself, getting kind of harpooned, but harpooned safely, while John Cena throws his statue, this angel statue, in such slow motion, Cupid statue, that if he had actually just decided to fly away, he would have gotten away from the statue. And it wrecks the helicopter. Things seem okay now. Maybe him and Sam will get together. And Jack Quaid's alive, by the way. But then Noelle shows up and is like, oh, you're an agent now. And she shows up in a black dress. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. My God. Good grief. Good grief, she looks great. The movie, however, was not great. Like, at all. Like, it really wasn't. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've seen again, but it is what it is. It gets an F. Sorry. Put a review on Letterboxd if you want to check it out as well. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Retland, and until we meet again, happy trails to you.